Get some more light in this area. There we go. All right. So we're going to be trying to finish up the shark here. And I'll wait for some souls to get on board. So anyway, for those that are going to see this in the beginning, we're going to be using Create Text Illustration Colors. I've been using the 4021 reducer, and just these are 2-ounce bottles. Here's a little 1-ounce bottle that you can purchase. I also am going to be using, this is the old label that Timothy John Luke Smith, you look at his channel, and he's an amazing teacher, and he has all the inks. He works with colors too, but he sells these inks, the mixtures, medium, dark, light mixtures of ink. I'm using a little bit of this to just darken some areas because it's very see-through, and I've tested it already on a painting. You gotta make sure you shake it good, and you got to go from there. So anyway, just for anybody that wants to know what kind of paint I'm using, it's the Create Text Illustration Colors, and it's the transparent set, which has all the different transparents in it. That also you add your white, so opaque paint will add it. You add the white to it, and you get an opaque mixture. They do sell opaque paints that are already mixed from the factory, but you're in control this way. So let me put these off to the side and just get a little something going here with the ink. So once you get a painting established, then you have the base in there. You can tint things and do different things to it. And I'm happy with the ink. I've been testing it a little bit, so I'm just gonna come in here and fire in some darker areas right here. Contrast there's not enough contrast. If you look at the reference picture, you don't notice it until you really get away from it, like right in here by his mouth. The shadowing right underneath there. So let's try to just darken that a little more. I feel like I didn't even think I had my right glasses on, but I do. All right, I'm just looking at the picture, and I see a little bit of darkness here, right there, and then there. I'll just do it very little to get the contrast to come up. All right, so it's very dark under here, and when I left you guys the last time with part 2, I said I was going to finish it off camera, but you miss out then on how I would go about, trying to finish it and bring it to full completion. So I like the handle on this better. Just feels balanced in my hand, but I got some ink on there, or paint. That's an opaque paint. It scratches right off there. Okay, so this is the Micron SB, custom Micron, and it's filled with the India ink right now. So let me just start to kind of give you this over here while I work on this side a little. You can see the darkness. I'm getting there with the darkness, but it's not there yet. So let's just start whispering it in little by little where I see it. Right here. And because I still want to see some color, in between all this. I'm going to miss this from far away right here. There. Just I want to see some openings. I don't want it to be solid. All right. down beneath. Say, this is Melina. How you doing? Welcome on board. And let's see, we're going to take the cutout from the photograph, the photocopy, and we're just going to use that as a freehand shield. I've got a little work to do on the fin down here because I noticed it's not, it's just not right. Visually I did something to it. I don't even know what I did to it. I left out a piece, a little bit of a fold over here. So I'm just making sure the bottom's lined up. Capture that right there. Now I can come in, like I said, right now I'm just using a little India ink. Now watch the contrast. Watch how I'll bring the reference picture back in a minute. But I'm just deepening this. The blue is under there. You can still see it, but it, and I got to be careful I'm not going too dark. So here's your reference picture again. And now we have that darkness that wasn't there. And it starts to give them, you know, some body, some weight. And like he's got shadows on him. So I'm going to use a Mylar shield. Get one of the, I'll try the small one first, the curved shield. This is, I got from Drew Blair, Blair School of Realism. This is a Mylar stencil. It's got some great stencils. Go on his website. You'll find everything and anything. They're very durable. You can clean them with, I wipe them off with Windex. But anyway, having said that, let me find what I was looking for here. Okay, we want to come over in this area a little bit. So that shape looks like it might be it. Let me just make sure it's not too round. Maybe this one. No, it's pretty round there. That's it right there. Can always check it by looking at the cutout, and I see the cutout. But if I want to make sure, I can always put a little dot right there where it's meeting up, maybe one more there. I'm talking very lightly, just to connect. There we go. I'm going to put the darkness in there now. Whoops, what did I pick? This one, right? Make sure it's not too round. There's the dot. There it is there. Just going to whisper it on a little bit right in here. And I'm going to look at it. So I'm back farther. I want to get closer to this guy here. So I'll just go this way a little. Now I want to take the other shield, the other part of the shield here, and flip it around and get the curve. That would be right, nope, that's too round, so this would be good right here. And now I can kind of come out here a little bit more, like that. And then I can just work it, just looking at the, you know, just push it over a little more. Okay, so now there is a white highlight in there that you're going to see right above it. Okay, what else do I want to do here? I want to get darker in here. I want to start to get darker in here. This is coming down this way, this is wider. If the ink starts getting watery on you, then you got to shake it. I was using the medium mixture, and I was like, it was too liquidy, so I bailed out on it and took the other one. And that's what I'm using. That's the darker ink. Okay, that can go there. Just following. Whoops, I see that curve that way a little more, so let me start at the bottom. Let's see. So that goes, yeah, that's right. Inside, all of them are on this side. Just little by little. little darkness in here. The last one has a nice whisper of darkness right there. Ties it into it goes away from like a pencil line drawing to bringing it into the picture more. Little dot there. Tiny. So where do I want it? I want it. First I gotta find that one. It's hard to see. I'll just go with the bigger one. Well, that hit it. Now just freehand it. Very close pump stroke. It's just a pump stroke. I made mine bigger than the one in the photograph, but I can always play around with that. So that's good there. Let's get down by the bottom here. I'm just going to aim up. Micron can get into tight areas. Got to go real slow. I think Tim has a good rule there, the 1 second rule. I think it's called, I'm not sure anymore. I haven't. But just hold off and don't do anything. And little whispers of paint and check it. And this goes this way. This is almost a line. Just marks on the shark, you know, just all kinds of nothing's really even. It's all like blotchy and stuff. I'll look at the comments in a second. I just want to get this moving along here a little bit. Okay. Good morning, Stuart. How are you? How's Australia? Okay, so line that up there and just look at the photo and bring in that little rib there, rib shape, and then another little feather stroke there, and then darken it down at the bottom a little, and then look at it. Don't just trust yourself. It's even darker than that. But now that I can start to see, like that black I went too far with, so I'll have to touch that one up. This black over here can be worked just off of it, just to melt it. That was actually the edging of a color pencil, like a Prismacolor or something. And once you draw a line, if you use the airbrush, you can melt it, you know, you can cause it to just melt into the picture. Okay, so I'm going to show you the full size. Where is that thing? So Roy Johnson, how you doing? Who else we got here? Melina, Raul, hey, how you doing? Do you get ever clear over the ink to prevent it from moving when you spray wet paint over it. I've used satin Krylon clear. I also have the clear from Createx, which I didn't use yet. They're clear, you know, that comes, let's see, let me just get it. So, this is satin one. And I haven't used this yet, but when I use the Krylon, I put my first coat on over my finished painting. Sometimes I do work, like I can put the Krylon on and then I can go back in and do some more work and then spray another coat of Krylon. But I can't do no more erasing and things like that. Like I was erasing, I erased that out, that highlight. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. But so there's the beautiful photograph. There's the shark. He's getting there. You can see he's got punch up some highlights. And I've got this kind of wrong in here. So I just gotta keep working on it a little bit. All right, so this is bluer in here. I've started to go too far with the ink. That's the other thing you gotta be careful about. You know, where you still have color. I was just using the ink like a mist, just to deepen areas that, you know, could use it. And then from there, you know, like there's going to be a little highlight in here. You can probably disturb the paint a little bit. It is hardened acrylic, and it's 3 weeks old now, so it can get pretty not erasable, but you can see it is erasing a little. It might be some of the ink, I'm not sure. Anyway, you can just put in subtle highlights, like over in here. I got to be careful I don't damage. It can get very coarse looking. I'm not going to go for the super highlights with the eraser. I'm just going to lighten. Yeah, it's starting to act up right there. I got to be careful. And then what you can erase, you can go in and you can. That's in the earlier stages, the erasing with, even with this paint, or of course, the let me clean the eraser on a piece of paper. You know, when you're using transparents, you can erase like crazy. You can get some really cool erasing effects. Okay, so I'm just taking some paint off there, knocking that around a little bit. Okay, I want him to be heavy. Now there's a little scratch right there. And the nice thing about the acrylic paints is you can take, let's see, let me get my right color here, my correct color. Okay, I have some notes on here. So when I look over to say, whoops, water on my fingers. So when I look over here, there's little solo cups. I wrote on there that, you know, number 2, as opposed to this being the number 1, lightest color. This was just for the water. And the CBCER stands for cobalt blue, it's cobalt blue, also cerulean, and white, orange, and red violet. The dots represent, like a lot of dots here represent more cobalt blue than cerulean. How do you know that? How do you know what to put in? How did I know to put red violet in? I'm not going to tell you. No, I'm only kidding. I do have people asking me, can you teach color mixing? I can teach basic color theory. I will not teach the Drew Blair color theory. You know, he has the course for sale, and I've learned, and it's very deep, like I've said before in other videos. It's a very complex thing. I would swear to you, I would swear to get it. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I would get it. Get the color theory in a box theory. I own it. I own the course. I'm still studying it. So how do I make that watercolor become that watercolor and disappear into it? That's all going to be taught in the course that Drew has. Okay? But basic color theory is There's orange in that blue, okay? There's orange in this blue. A little bit of orange. That's why it's on here. The O. So basic color theory would be, know the color wheel. I will show you guys, because I got permission from Drew not to teach you anything from the theory, but to show you the color wheel you get with the course. That might help you. I get people complimenting me and then they say, can you teach how to mix the colors? And because I'm doing this style, I can't. I don't want to teach that. And it's too involved. His courses are long and deep. But when you buy the color theory in a box, you're going to get the color theory, the wheel. It's not just, well, there's your color wheel, okay? And we were talking about blue, and you go all the way across the wheel, and you got orange. So the opposites, are opposing colors. They will gray each other. They'll cause each other to get grayer and more realistic, away from the saturated color of the bottle. So you'll get all this information. This is the lightest version of the color wheel. Pastel Easter, I think a very light, the value is like all, so look where the orange is. It's almost not there. So if you want this, and if you're really going to invest in your career and you want to mix colors dead on, get Drew's course. It's only, I'm going to say it's under 300. I'm not sure. It's worth every penny and more. It's your work will get better if you start to understand it. And he does it. He has it all laid out that you'll be amazed. It's like a trip through a science thing, but if you get it, you'll start understanding color like I've never known before. And then this will come with the kit, along with the video, which you get emailed to you. And then you can you also get a large color wheel too, the big boy, just a bigger version of the middle one. So anybody that sees these things, go over to Drew Blair, Blair School of Realism, and you can either, go on and take virtual classes. You can go to his school down in South Carolina. He has a school in Blair, the ancestral town of his own name. He also has, I think, Charleston. He has about I think he has 3 schools outside of his airbrush school. I could be wrong. I know he has at least 2. And that teaches everything: watercolors, acrylics, children's art, and everything. But Drew's Classrooms in a Box, if somebody buys how to paint a tiger, wouldn't it make more sense, if you want to understand what you're getting for your money, to get the color theory first, right? Because then you can paint the tiger without just him guiding you through painting the tiger. You can understand. So I would highly recommend that. But anyway, this color here, I mixed it earlier. Like I told you the colors that are in it. But to figure out how those colors are in it, you have to do the course. I better get the India ink out of this. I'm using your Tim. I'm using your ink for part of this graying, very see-through-ish, just to deepen, and get closer to, because the color's already there, and I can still take, I almost see a little blue-violet, I could still take colors like transparents and tint over this and make the shark even prettier than the colors in the photo. You can be artistic and take artistic liberties, and just do your thing, or you could stick to the photograph totally. And then when you show your work and you have a photograph reference, which is from Unsplash, this reference, I'm sorry, the photo reference is from a free website. You can pay for certain items. You do have to pay, but you can get plenty of free images. And this, I think, was from Unsplash. And I just typed in great white shark, and I saw this big bear sitting there, and I downloaded it, and you give the guy credit on Facebook, the artist credit. This has been a little while. I don't remember just, go on Unsplash and you'll see that shark there. And anybody could, you know, get their hands on it if you like what I'm painting. Oh boy, that's too much. What do I got here? I know I didn't put that much ink in. That's got to be war. Yeah, maybe I did. So that's the other thing. You got to be careful loading up your color cup until you have paint. When you go to move, like suddenly, and you see your paint come out, all over your painting. Sometimes I have an interaction with the Createx paints. I don't know if you do, Tim, um, but in other words, Tim, when you use Createx white and then you go to your inks, do you have to clean your airbrush really special, or because sometimes I feel like it's not flowing right. I don't use them a lot together. I got to empty that. I got a little clog going on here. Okay, get empty. Now I'm going to put a little bit of Windex in there, I guess. Not sprayed in the air. I have a cleaning station on the side. I never breathe in the paints anymore having this baby. I've had them before, but I used to have a ventilation desk. And the ventilation desk really worked good for illustrations and stuff. But when it came right down to doing t-shirts, it was blowing back at me and going down my throat because I was teaching and talking and having all kinds of throat issues from the Createx Wicket line because I was teaching without a mask so they could hear me. So just be careful with the paints. You also can check for problems. You can check your color cup. You can just undo that. I know when I use the Opegs, I get a real nasty, that's nothing because Tim's inks were in there. So there's no problem. But when I get going with the colors, the ones that you see in the painting here, there's a little bit of, it can get clogged, and you think your gun is clogged, and it's not. It's this. Be careful with the Q-tip too, because the fuzzies. And then you can ream that with the dentals. What are they called? This is Dentec, and it is just, you can just ream right through that little hole there. I'm going right into it. Whoops, going out of focus. Clean that. You can go in there, but you can also feed this into here. It's all important, very important. Okay, so now it would help to put this back on. Look at how out of focus that is. And you go in and you come out. Whatever's going to be in focus, right? Now he looks like he's in the distance, like just coming towards the scuba diver. And you see the music's getting bum, 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 right? And then he's there. Okay, so now that I'm being silly, let me just, I also have, for cleaning my airbrush, might as well talk about this stuff, right? I have this tool here. It's not a tool, it's a bottle that has it's the Vilbus gun cleaning bottle. And you can take your airbrush and you can simply put that right in there and squirt it and aim it into the garbage pail or whatever. You could flush it inside there. You can get into areas you can not normally get into. And especially the guys with the t-shirt guns, and they have those little nozzles, you can force water through those little cones that are for the t-shirt guns. Okay, so let's get some... What do we want to do here? I'm going to use my Awada. What is this one? This is my Eclipse, but it's the top feed. So it's called the HP BS. That's the one I'm using mostly to mix my colors instead of clogging my Micron with the heavy duty mixtures of opaque paints. This works out nice. Using another gun. Okay. Terry Hill silent air compressor on the sideline. So now I could just come down here. You can see that little area right there. This color, if it's mixed right, will cover that, and it will be gone just like that. It won't be like using transparent where, oh, you're transparent, you sprayed it too long and it got dark. If my mixture, which I see might be a little bit different, I can come back in here and I can second coat the water because I was rushing to get um, that mixture. This pretty much this mixture here, I guess. Let me see. Is that it? Yeah. So my little test piece here should melt right into the picture. Okay, so if it's off a little, that's okay because it's pretty much on. I think I have a little more cerulean in the mixture, which won't ruin anything because I can second coat this opaque painting and get covering like this. Go right up to the shark and then use the shark cutout, which he went down on the floor. You could cut out more of these things. When you get Drew's kits, these aren't like that. They are actually like this. So you'll get the positive and the negative of the shark. You'll get great stencils, that you just, I don't have that. I have what I have, which is hand cut from paper. So you can see there's a little blotch there. That scratch is gone. The bottom of the shark has a little problem. So we'll just pin that right there, right about there. And just melt that back in. It's opaque paint. It's gone. That area is gone. It's still over here a little. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's actually, it might be the eraser that I was using. Line that up, bring that up in there. I'm just worried about this area. I'm not worried about that. Just want to tilt it right and get that right there. And right off of here, I see a little, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a little India ink. But yeah, Tim's Inks, you got to go over to his YouTube channel, and all of his information is there, and he will take you on a journey. That is a whole nother thing. There's so many great artists out there that share and teach and mentor people, and he has students that join on and they'll pay, for classes, and then he has a lot of things you can just watch on his live feed to get to see what he does. Yeah, I have a little more cerulean in there, but it's not bothering me. I even want to put a little on that fin. I'm just a little too much air going on here, too much volume from the Mac valve. That's on the fin there, and we could probably go right on his body and get some of that. Whoa, got the t-shirt air volume going here, and I don't want that. I'm just going to kind of mist this blue on there, right in that area. There we go. So even over the ink, right in here, I can make the ink. Oh, that's a little too much there because I hit the trigger too long, but it will be all right because I said so. Now it'll be all right because I can go back in with my whites and stuff. So here, there's a little too much white. So just take that same color and put the watercolor on his back. The actual blue that's on his back. And then, so the base is there. And these beautiful colors are waiting. So let's get the big photograph again. Let's put it next to the fish here and start to look for some of this blue over here. It's more cerulean here. I got to be careful. I'm just going to tint that a little bit. It's really not, I made it a little too cobalt blue, but don't tell nobody because I can go back in. I'm going to go back in with white anyway. And then over here, get a little more blue in this area. So I'm using a couple different airbrushes. I'm going to fire some blue in here. very dark there that it didn't catch. You won't catch it till you look at it later with fresh eyes. You won't do it. You got to go away from your painting, even when you mix right exact colors. You got to go away from your painting a little bit for just a little bit. Maybe later that night, come back at it. Okay, let's just get this going in there. Okay, so I'm going to get my white out. Oh yeah, might as well go after the teeth. The teeth are not white. This big one will show you what they are. They're the color of pretty much the blues. You know, the teeth are almost the color they are now, but they're a little brighter. So I'm going to just experiment with a couple different mixtures I have and see which works out. I think I'll do the lightest one first with a paintbrush. So this will have, and this could be way too bright. And this paint is from 2 weeks ago. My experience is using the 4021, which I'll show you the real bottle. This is just when I bought the large bottle, the 16 ounce, and this is all I had to put it in. But then when I was at Hobby Lobby, I said, let me grab this with the writing on it, and nice new bottle. But this stuff in this mixture, it just, I came back, oh, that one's not even open yet. I came back at this 2 weeks later, and I just did this, a couple drops. Maybe I've added a little transparent base, or maybe a little bit more white. And if I thought, oh, well, I put too much white in, then I looked at my little note and I said, add more cobalt blue and add a little more of this. And then you get right back, and you can test the color, because if it's not going to match that, it's not going to match it. So let me stir this with an old paintbrush. Now I'm going to be using the paintbrush. So this is pretty thick. As you can see, it's not just watery, like very thin paint. All right, I need to put this over here. And when I'm mixing, I might squirt in 3-4 drops of this color or that color. But then all of a sudden, like I said, you're adding some blue to your, to gray down your, orange rather, to gray down your blue. And I'll put it in this. I'll put a drop on the palette. Then I'll take a little paintbrush and put part of the drop into the blue. If you add too much opposites, you can really ruin a color. Okay. So what I have here is my little cup here, and then I have my squirt bottle with distilled water. It's just for my paintbrushes. They're my mixing brushes, and then I have my paint brushes that are like Winsor Newton Series 7 that Steve Leahy uses. Okay, so where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, so this one is number 7 000. It's very, very fine. Good for the teeth. Okay, what color did I say I was using? The lighter blue. I'm going to try it. I'll know right away if it's too much. There's some teeth back there that are way in the back. Whoops, there's one there. And let's see, is that too bright? It might not be. If it is, I can just get some of these teeth to show at least. No, that's pretty much. Let me try. What else do we got? No, I could take the other blue and mix a little bit, the other blue into it and quiet that down a little bit. Put one back here. Little triangles, right, that are just showing some teeth that need to be there, but they're in the dark. So the teeth aren't going to look white like a shark tooth. They're going to look shadowed, and the shadow is going to be the bluish color. There's one here, I think. Trying to get the points on them, but okay. Gonna get the white. I want to try something. This might be a little too harsh, but experiment, right? This is outside the mouth, right in here. This might be too bright. Yeah, definitely too bright. So let me go to the blue. I just dirtied up that same color. And I'm trying to put a little outline there coming off the mouth. There's a highlight. And then this white gets lighter. So let's spray that one in. Where else are these little marks? There's going to be one right up in here. Starts to give it details that aren't there right now. Now I'm going to go over here. Okay, this could be a little brighter. Right along here. You can soften that later with the airbrush too. I'm just trying to find out where my highlights are. Or you can leave it rough if you want two styles. That's too rough for me. You know, like get a little bit. Now I got some water in the brush. Let's see. So here we go. We got a little liquid to make it move. Yeah, I'm going to go over that with the airbrush. It's too, that's not good. That's too painted looking. Okay. This is going to be, better be careful here. Connect that right there a little. And then I'll spray the white into it. There we go, just like that. The more I kick up the whites against the darks, even this highlight is pure. It's much more lighter than I erased out. So I'm just putting in the shape that I see. And it looks wrong, but that's what's in the picture. It looks like crazy little squished oval. This has some marks like scratches that are cutting through, that are looking white. The more details you put in, the more the shark will come alive. Just marking it up a little bit. I won't use my zoom with my fingers because I mess it up every time. So let's try nice. Let me put my paints away, because this sitting down below without a lid on it is crazy. Look at the notes on this one. CB, cobalt blue is in here. Cerulean. Wow. Really? I have equal amounts? You wouldn't think that, but there's a lot of white, and yet, yeah, the white's got a lot. Black. There's black in this color. There's black, and the way you'll find that out is when you start studying Drew's color theory. He'll teach you how to see that. Spray number 4. The next. Okay. So there's a lot of information on just that color alone. So let me get some. I'm going to get some white and some reducer. I got some questions here. Anybody? Where are we at? Got about 13 people. We had like 24 people for a few minutes that were just checking the video out. Maybe they saw part 1 and 2 and said, there's that dumb shark again. But like I said, this will be finished tonight. Even if I get it close to finish. It'll be so much more done. Man, I keep going to the bottle that's not open. When I say finished, I mean I could sign it, but I probably will go back to it and say, ooh, because you see it with fresh eyes the next day and you add a little tiny bit of something else to it and you wouldn't notice it because everything, the more you do to it towards the end, the less you're going to notice. Only the artist would know, that the artist came back and did a little more. And yeah, so let me try this. Let me try to brighten up. I got to just get that very low volume coming out of here. I'm going to go in here by the mouth and I'm just going to dust around a little bit of this brighter white. Kill the paint line by keep hitting it in the same spot. And the paint line with the paintbrush goes away. And then this is a bigger area. So I'm going to come back in here. Be very careful not to go into the mouth area. Put a lot of liquid in this. Now I want to blow this down this way a little bit more. Make that a bigger highlight. And then look at it. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it's subtleties. It's little subtleties. You can see that. Over here, you've got a little bit of highlight around that black. So I'm going to just go in there and try to do that. Whoops, I got a little too heavy on that finger. Maybe a little too much. Then it does have a highlight over here. So I'll just kind of bring that around like that. And then over here, it's got a highlight. It continues. Soft. Practice working real close, but get your paint to go where you want it. Okay, tip dry. Let's try this again. There we go. Some of it is repeating because you lose it. You do a little highlighting near all these different little things, and then all of a sudden you lose it. Now there's where it could use some highlighting right there. Right there. If I see a blue shift, it's not going to matter too much because it's blue. Everything's blue. Blue shift is really a lousy thing, but so let's do a little dancing around here and see if we can make some shapes. That's a little too much. A little too much there, but we can also bring some of this down this way and this way. Whoops, that didn't belong there. Okay, so what's going on here? That right along the front. Back over, second coat this one. All along the front here. Highlights everywhere. Not too sure about this shield, so we'll just try it and see. They start getting warped after a while. I didn't cut out a new one. So where was that? Right there. Let me just come in here and see. Okay, if that goes there, yeah, this is all warped now, so it's lost its shape. Let me just try my own little shield that's safer. Too bright. And moved it and went right where I wanted it. Okay, so we've got this brighter. And like I could tint the white into a bluer area. Remember here I got a little carried away. So I can just come back in here and go back and forth with the gray and the white and get those nicer shapes that are going to get lost from this white right now even. I'll have to put them back in. But there is a white there. There's a white that's tinted with cerulean blue right now. I'm just going to do, yeah, the blue is showing up all by itself. Color shift. We have color shift. Now, color shift can really go into a bad place. It can go like zombie skin or something. It really happens with, if you try to do like a warm colors and you took the dark on a portrait too far and you tried to use white to just, knock back the dark. You got to learn the right things to knock that back where it belongs. The right colors, mixtures that can kill the blue. Again, that's in that course that Drew has. A lot of people have been taught by him too, so it's not like, it's not known anymore. It's known by those people that were taught by him, I guess. Okay, so let's go in here and do a little blotchy stuff. Boom, boom, just kind of bouncing around with texture and making it look a little, just a little bit more spotty looking. This is brighter, all up here. And it's brighter in here. I'm going to spray that probably with some, what's wrong with me? I know it. I know I'm supposed to go after tip dry much more than I am. Okay, so let's just go in here. Just in the beginning, not taking it all the way through. Maybe a little further, just skin. It's a feather stroke. Almost a dagger, but. And then up above it, thinning that line down too. Whoops, I covered the line. Not too much, but highlights on here. Yeah, I had to turn the volume of the paint down. That's what the problem is. Remember that highlight over here? It shoots up. And then I got to tint it too, but this is how I'm treating it tonight. Okay, so somewhere around here, it starts to wrap out from that darkness, like right here. Like that. This is coming up around, but it's tinted. It's got to be tinted afterwards. Another way to get the tip dry is just rock that needle, and then that helps too because you're pulling needle in and out. Okay, what do you got? Anybody talking here? Oh, my neck is so bad. It's actually cut me back from doing live feeds every week because I have bone spurs and oh man, it's just so painful. Because you're supposed to, like, when I do the dishes, I literally go into and sit on a stool now. Because if I can have my head in an upright position, my pain doesn't happen as much. But that doesn't always work either. And I've worked today, I did things around the house, and my neck was hurting before I started this tonight. So I'm in trouble. Oh, it hurts, man. Boy, does it hurt. But I love to paint, so it's going to have to hurt. I painted my whole life not in pain. Painted my whole life. Mainly being a sign painter. You know, you can imagine coming up by the side of a truck and getting your neck kind of not only is bent, but the closer you get to the truck, where's my, oh, I'm out of paint. That will help. The closer you get to the truck, the more your head is on a funny angle. That's all I could say. It's very, but it didn't bother me, you know, because I was younger. Whoops. Okay, you dummy. Nope. There's a Mac valve, controls the volume of the paint. But um, I was cleaning out a fan the other day. It was really needing to be blown out, you know, with the compressor. I just took the gun off the hose and went at it. And I don't think I adjusted my air pressure on the compressor right. You know, I don't have a good gauge. It's all fogged out. This is a highlight on the side. Hopefully I could do this, of this little dude here. It's kind of like a spider painting. There we go. Just highlights what's raised on his body. It's like a scar. Just a little scar area. This is the fun part. Now I look at it and then I look at this and I'm like, it's getting closer. The sharper, like these fins aren't even painted in dark enough. The sharper I go after areas that are darker that I didn't know were as dark, that's when the magic starts to happen because you have to study your reference picture. Then you have to sit back when you're done with the live feed or whatever, painting by yourself, you know, and you have to do you got to look at it and study it and leave your painting out. And I used to get frustrated with my students at my school. They would be working on one girl was working on this beautiful strawberry. No, it was pancakes with strawberries on it, and this little syrup and all, and then a whipped cream on top and a cherry in the whipped cream. She was knocking it out of the park, and but yet she never took it home, like to study it. She just came in the next class and just, that was it. But now, years later, you know, one of my students, she calls me up and asks me if I have the painting. And I do think I have it somewhere, maybe in the attic, buried in some box. But she wants it now. It was so good. And it was so good, I'm keeping it now. It's great. It's just a great painting, and she thought about it later, and she wants to see if I have it, and I think I do, but getting up in the attic is a whole nother thing because it's so filled with stuff. One of the best freehand airbrush artists that I've ever watched. I don't have his name readily. You know, he's from across the pond. Oh my gosh, he paints cars. He'll paint the interior of a car. He is so steady. He literally will paint the circle around the headlight. He'll use no shields. Maybe he'll tape off this or that for just overspray stuff, but he literally can paint in the BMW logo. He painted the interior of the car. And he, you know how the steering wheel has the little pinholes in the rubber, and the dashboard and the clocks and he painted everything. Some brushwork, a little bit of brushwork, but my gosh, I was just staring at his work for the longest time, and I can't believe I can't say his name right now because I can't remember it. I don't want to say it wrong, but he's becoming really well known on from going to different seminars and things wherever he shows up, and he's phenomenal. Another one that's phenomenal is Chris, Pinstripe Chris. He can bang out a car from his mind, and he can paint it so quick, and he's a pinstriper to boot. So guess what? He can put it all together. It's just, there's amazing talent out there beyond belief. And I'm just a guy trying to do the best I can, having fun. My wife used to say, you're not enjoying your art, because I had two businesses back then, and she was right. I wasn't enjoying it. And you can't compare yourself to others. You know that, right? I mean, I'll never be a Drew Blair, but I can strive to be as good as I can be with his knowledge, and be thankful that people like that are teaching, because it is so amazing. And, you know, I don't have to have like pride to where, oh, this guy's better than, it's not about that. It's about, there are some aliens out there. They're really beyond belief. But if you can't, if you're going to be jealous, then you're going to have trouble right from the get-go, because that's not what it's about. Learn from the best, they say, and forget the rest, right? Just do that. Just learn from the best, and don't be jealous of them. They've got a gift, and learn from them. That's why I'm still studying under Drew. I'll study under him until I drop, because I love his style. I love what he does, and there'll be more kits coming my way now that I don't have to go down there, because Drew sells these kits now. That helps me a lot. I've been there so many times, but there's nothing like having it in your own house. You own the course for life. It's not a DVD. It comes in an email. It goes through your email. You sign in to watch it, but you'll always own it. And you'll hear, your teacher will be right there for you. And then repetition's the mother of learning, right? You'll just study, and go back and watch it again. You'll be like, I can't believe I just learned something new, and I had the video for a year. That's how it works, right? Okay, so I am getting a little bit too white in here. I gotta be careful. I want a few more crazy shapes of blotches. Right there, right there. So I can come back in with the brush that I let get hardened almost. Now, what color do I need? I need a really dark color. I need the color in there. See, if I take, what color is this fin? Hold on 1 second, guys. So it's number 8. According to my notes, I can see it's number 8, and this is number 8. I am going to try to brush. It's probably not going to look good, but I can spray over it. I just want to go after this and darken this. Let's just see if we can do this. There's something about the solidness of the brush, though, that won't always work out good. You can get nice edges, but I need to see that darker, and then this out here. If you see my hand tremor, and that's because I have problems with blood sugar and stuff, but I still paint. I'll paint through it. But when you watch Pinstripe Chris, oh my gosh, it's like perfect lines, you know. See, I'm marking up my own paint with my hand, but I have that paint. because this is still fresh paint and I'm leaning on it. That's kind of interesting looking. I mean, I could put highlights in the water. I could do all kinds of stuff if I wanted to, but I want that to be like the photo. So here I see a little highlight and a line coming down, and I'm just going to put it in. Just add a little more noise, visual noise to this painting. There we go. I can see in the phone it looks different than in here. Like when I look through my cell phone, colors are brighter and it's not exactly what I want. So here I can come along. I don't know if I have the right color for this one. Probably needs more black in it, but let me just try this for a minute. You can get those little weird shapes there. Yeah, it's a little too blue. So I'll put some, I'll go over the same thing I'm doing now, and I'll get some darker mixture of black in it. And then sharpen this up. Once I get the brush going, the little tremors kind of behave, but it's a shame I got that going on. But for those that have steadier hands, enjoy it, you know. It's just, yeah, this is darker. So this isn't going to work here. But I'm going to put this in just to have the shape. It's almost disappearing into the water. And if I do ride like a bike, I did buy a bike for in the house, but unfortunately it's broken. It was about 25 bucks. It's one of those, you sit down on it and you take a chance when you're buying stuff on the marketplace and all. And I couldn't believe it. I was pedaling it and it's broken. It's just grinding away and not behaving and that kind of thing. So he's becoming more heavy in the water. So what I could do for, okay, that is number 6. Okay, so here it is. This is the color. Very dark blue. Very watery though. Let me stir it. Let's try that again. This is the correct color. I'm not spraying it right now because I don't have a good stencil. I'll just brush it in for a minute. Just so we can see it. Look at that tremor. Wow. It's very uncomfortable painting with that too, but I deal with it. And then it goes this way. What I was saying about the bike though, if my bike that I just bought for, I think it was $25 was working, and I went and rode it and burned the adrenaline and just burned it all off, this wouldn't be tremoring at all. But you have to earn it. For me, I'd have to ride the bike, So there's the darker thin that can be softened with an airbrush, obviously. You can come back in here, and it's going to be nice little shapes. Yeah, I gotta fade that in with the airbrush. I'm trying to just get my shapes because that's too blotchy. So let's see. Let me get that into the airbrush. Now with the nice little brush, I'll take it and I'll put it in the water this way so it won't get a bent angle on it. Okay, so I'm going to put that color, the darker blue, the thin color, into the airbrush after I make sure the white's gone. Oh boy, am I spilling paint all over my pants. I mean, I have my paint pants on, but today was a wipeout. I really made them really, oh boy. Okay. Let me see what goes on here. This might be darker than the color I have even. First I gotta test it. Yeah, it's too blue, but I'm gonna go with it for now. I like it, actually. Come up against that highlight and make it go down. Yeah, that's gonna have a darker look to it. Those little pieces of gray that go into the other. Maybe this will be the color I want on here. Let me try it. A little bit. Yep, that's what I want. Right up to the white. Makes the white pop out more. So you can see how it's all coming together. Hopefully you're seeing that. Just airbrush right on that. He's the darker version of that. And this fin is rolling a little bit more. Let me find the shape. Right there, it's rolling a little. There we go. That's what it's doing in the picture. And then it's a little fatter right here. It's kind of coming together right there. That's it. Okay. And then this blue kind of lives down here. So we could use the bigger shield instead of using the small curve, French curve. I'm going to use the big one to get a bigger shape, right? Just to come under here and find that roundness and kind of put it. Now I want an edge a little bit, right? I want it to have an edge that's defined. That's the other thing. You have to manage your edges. You have to get the edge to look not like a stencil, because that won't look good. A little blue there. This is more cerulean, so I'll switch over in a minute. I'll switch over right now with a dirty airbrush. So what I'm going to try to do is I could mess up here too. I'm just going to take the cerulean right into my dirty airbrush, put a drop in there, and it's full strength now, so obviously it won't look good if I try to paint, something like that. That's going to be crazy. But if I tint like that, I might get what I want in this area. So let me because that's cobalt, and I need a little more of this color. I'm just going to mist over it. There we go. Should be all right. Right here. And tie it all together in here. Okay. Tint over the teeth a little bit. Oh, that's not that color. I got to be careful now. Go back to the dark. Forget what's in your brush, right? And you get messed up. So I'm going to switch my color cup to this one. It's just sitting there. Flush out the gun a little bit. Leave the whatever that, that paint in that gun, in that color cup, because I want to go to the India ink. And so this is empty, and I'm going to deepen in here with the India ink, tinting over the actual colors a little bit, letting maybe the colors show through. Okay, so this has got to be low, low, low air pressure and shaken a lot, more so than, oops, sorry. I still see the blue, there we go. Okay, so this is the India ink now. Now I'm going to deepen this right here, in here. Contrast. That's pretty light in there, but this is a nice line here. Let's see if I can get in close and do it. Like a scar. There it is. Slowly but surely. I'm going to put a little shadow on the corner here where this color turns a little bit. And get darker in here. And under here. And this will be the only thing I'll probably work on off the camera, because I gotta repair that. There's too much black on this side, and it's not a big deal. It's just something I'll tweak. Getting back in here now. I'm putting the black back where it goes. It's India ink. Black ink. Trying to use the pump stroke and make the shape like that. It's very dark here. Paint what you see. Yeah. Okay, let me check something here. I got to touch up the water. I've got to go after some. Okay, get the small one down here so you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see that one. Just put the big one off to the side and bring it over when it's time. Okay. Dark, but crazy little shapes. That's going to be knocked back a little bit. I think it's reacting with the other. Thank you. I don't know how long ago you wrote that. I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the comments. Thank you for the compliment. That's great. These inks are great too. So here's my darker, where I can come in here and start really popping those little shapes out. I can even get a stencil out that has similar shapes and try to find them, as far as like that little shape, this little shape down here. So for example, here's where I could bring in the black color pencil and just bring this up, press very lightly, and then find these again a little bit. Whoops, I missed. Gotta be get right on the line. So your color pencils added in, all kinds of different techniques you can use around that corner there a little bit. And then these shapes are going like that. And I could spray over them with the ink and make it more softer. The color pencil can be blended too. You can use color pencil techniques. This is even darker. This little thin coming across here. I don't want it to look grainy, so I got to be careful. I don't want that look. But if I put the little color pencil in there like that, and I spray off of it, then I can get exactly where I want this to go. This is more rounder up here, like that. It has a little bit more of that shape. This is a wax pencil, so I've got to be careful with that too. And then I could darken this a little bit more. And then down here, it could also damage the board. See that? Fresh paint. So I have to be careful there. I can't do that there. But without getting crazy. So, but you want to spray back over these shapes. So I found the shapes. Like if I got a gray pencil and I could find them, then spray right on them. Or you could look through your thing of different stencils and stuff, and you could look for shapes that you'd have to tape off to protect, you know, this particular stencil, to protect the, I got some pretty good ones in here. Let's see what this edge looks like. This is a skin, and I like this one. This is for skin texture. Okay, so look at those shapes. I could come right in there, and I could use that right there. And I don't know what I have in the gun right now. I'm just going to spray it. You get a real hard shape then. So let's use it again right here. Flip it around, find something else interesting that's similar, and spray it. Okay. A little too dark, but the shapes that go down are cool. So I'll have to just lighten that with some white. Yeah. Go back over your color pencil. And that's it, you know. You just start to get it. Just pull that out off the color pencil, go over the color pencil. It just made me find the edge with the thing. There's a little shadow here, so I'll just put it in, hopefully. And at this point, I pretty much can call it before I get too dark, right? But I can stare at this later. Okay, so let's back it out a little bit. I can stare at my painting. The fine tuning would come in with, stuff that if I take this video and I put this up and show you this painting later, you won't notice that I did a few more things on it, but I will. Or some of you might. Back in here, I could do a little more gray of the stenciling. I could tweak it. I could push it a little further, but hopefully that brought the shark definitely more finished looking. Like I said, this has to be darker and all. But I'm happy with it. I told everybody I'm finishing it tonight, and for the most part, it's pretty far along. I gotta clean up some. Hey, those marks are gone. Isn't that wonderful? Flip that one up there. So just got to do some microscopic stuff, but that's it, guys. I'm gonna just back this out. There's the two heads of the shark. There's my painting and the photograph. So you can see, of course, a photograph, you know, you can see there's a little bit more to do, but it's pretty much, I'm happy with it. So we can kind of Kind of look at that. Push this back. Show this too. Nope, not. Well, there's the little guy. So let's do that. The big one is not reflecting like this guy because this is leaning. So hopefully that will at least show you where we're at. And we'll just go like that and end the video with a close-up of him. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be digging up a new project. Thanks for all the likes, 10 likes. Wow, really appreciate it. And the comments, and, you know, appreciate it. So you guys have a good week, and wherever you are, enjoy, you know, the weather. If you have nice weather tonight, our day turned pretty nice. So I'm actually going to go watch the rest of the baseball game. But that's about all I want to do on this right now. It's there, you know. It's just got little microscopic things in it. Sign it down there. If you wanted to, you could get creative with light bursting in on top of it and all that. But good night, guys. God bless you guys, and thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll try to see you next week. If not, remember, I'm going to do one, two, maybe three in a month of live feeds, maybe two, you know, but I'm going to try to jump on for two, you know. And if you don't see me, then that means I'm busy and my neck hurts. Okay, take care, guys. Good night.